Let's go. The Philadelphia Eagles 2026 schedule is out, and it's time to react to it on Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. It is NFL schedule release day, and we're going to react to this schedule game by game and week by week, and it's all presented by PrizePicks. Use our code HMA. When you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly in lineups. Also, this is a reminder to subscribe to the channel. I told you that prior to the Eagles releasing the schedule and before any other channel that covers the Eagles was going to talk about this schedule in full, we were going to bring you the news right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. So hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you top-notch, high-level Eagles coverage every single day year-round, which is why we're closing in on 150,000 subscribers. Week 1. The Philadelphia Eagles will open up at home against the Washington Commanders. 4 of the last 5 years heading into 2026, the Eagles have been on the road. This will be a good switch up as the Eagles will play host to the Commanders at Lincoln Financial Field. I wasn't sure what was going to happen here because Penn State and Temple play at the Link on Saturday, so the grounds crew are going to have to get that playing surface ready ASAP for Eagles Commanders and NFC East tilt to kick off the 2026 campaign. Then the Eagles will hit the road for the first time this season, week 2 in Nashville against the upstart Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh is the new head coach. Brian Daboll, former Giants head coach, is the new offensive coordinator. Cam Ward started to come on a lot at the end of last year, and I think the Titans are going to be a sneaky competitive team in the AFC South, but not enough to knock off the Eagles. This is a golden opportunity for Philadelphia to kick off the season at 2-0. Their roster top to bottom is so much better than Washington, and they're much further ahead as compared to Tennessee. If you're looking for a game to go to on the road to support the Birds, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles, going to Nashville is going to be a great time, and I know Eagles fans are going to take over Broadway. This is a difficult game in week 3 on the road against the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. So the first primetime game for Philadelphia here on the 2026 slate against a Bears team that embarrassed them, frankly, on Black Friday last year when they ran for nearly 300 yards against Vic Fangio's defense. This is a matchup between two teams that should be in the running to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl in LA in February. Speaking of LA, the Niners have played the Rams a lot over the last few years. That continues here as the Eagles will play host to the Rams here at the Link in week 4. Last year, early in the year, how about that game between the Rams and the Eagles, where Philadelphia was able to storm back after being down multiple scores early, and of course the Jordan Davis blocked field goal from Jalen Carter. He scooped and scored it, ran it in for the touchdown, giving Philadelphia an unbelievably thrilling victory early in the season on a bright sunny day in South Philadelphia. And I think when you look at those first 4 games, the biggest matchup here is this one. Eagles-Rams. Rams last year, 12-5, made it to the NFC Championship game. The Eagles looking to rebound after being embarrassed in the wild card round by the San Francisco 49ers last year. Just should have never lost that game in January to a Niners team that was trotting out a bunch of backups. But I think this Eagles team is re-energized. They're reinvigorated. The offensive system is going to be a lot better. And once again, these are two teams that could realistically represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So the first 4 games of the year, there are some difficulties here. You've got to go to Chicago. You have to play the Rams. You face a familiar foe in the Washington Commanders, and you get that easy game sprinkled in there with the Tennessee Titans. A lot more to get to, but first, if you're looking to go to an Eagles game this year, use our code CHAT10 by downloading the SeatGeek app, and you get 10% off your tickets. The link is in the description down below, and this is for new users or existing users. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game, right? Use our code CHAT10. You get 10% off your next set of tickets. That can be to a sporting event or a concert if you want to take your significant other out on a date night. With SeatGeek being Major League Baseball's official ticket marketplace, by the way, your tickets to a Philadelphia Phillies game or any game fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after your purchase. And think about where we are right now, right? We're talking about the upcoming Eagles schedule. Major League Baseball in full swing. NBA, NHL playoffs are here. with the NFL schedule coming out this week, you can now start to plan for what games you want to go to. And if you want to go to an Eagles game at the link on the road, download the SeatGeek app because we have you covered with a phenomenal deal. Now, each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots when you use the app. Green means good, red means bad. And when you use that code CHAT10, that's 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. So make sure you click the link in the description to download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek, for making today's Philadelphia Eagles now possible. All right, let's continue to move forward here. The Eagles will go to London, Tottenham Stadium, to play the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 5. This is the second time that the Eagles are playing the Jags in London since 2018. Back in 2018, Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson led the Birds over the Jags that season when the Eagles were coming off that Super Bowl victory in Super Bowl 52 against the New England Patriots. Kind of a sneaky, difficult opponent here in the Carolina Panthers. Yes, they were below 500 last season, and they won the much-maligned NFC South, but I'm a fan of what Dave Canales is doing. Jalen Phillips' revenge game against his former team. I kid, but he's on the Panthers now. They made a really good addition there with him and elsewhere on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not a believer in Bryce Young, but that's a feisty team coming to Philadelphia in Week 6, coming off of that London trip. When we were watching these games getting leaked, we're thinking, okay, coming back from London, is this going to be the bye week? Not the bye week for the Eagles. So it's going to be a quick turnaround with that time change to play Carolina. Then the Eagles have to hit the road, they are at home here. They hit the road to play the Cowboys later in the year on Thanksgiving. They're at home hosting the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. The Eagles have 7 primetime / standalone games on the schedule this year. Marketable team, looked at as a contender, a fan base that is worldwide and growing. They've got brand recognition all across the globe. And when they're on primetime, when they're in these standalone games, the ratings go through the roof. And I think this year compared to previous years, this Eagles offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Cowboys offense last year was electric. Now Christian Parker is their new defensive coordinator after leaving the Eagles as their former defensive backs coach. Another divisional game, back-to-back here. First, the Commanders on Monday Night Football. Then, short week, Commanders on Sunday Night Football. So Philadelphia playing Washington in Week 1 and Week 8. That Week 1 game is going to be in that classic late afternoon window. Not a lot of 1 p.m. games on the schedule this year. I kind of like them, but look, it's pretty awesome when the Eagles are such a big primetime hit. And I think the highlight game here in this stretch, the opportunity to go to London. And there are a couple of instances this year where Eagles fans can go to Nashville to play the Eagles or watch the Eagles play the Titans. You can go to London to see the Eagles in action there in what is going to be a unique international environment. The divisional games are always cool, but international games don't take place all the time. Next wave of games, Week 9, Philadelphia with their first matchup against the upstart New York Giants. The bye week for Philadelphia here is in Week 10. And given some of the games in the first 9 weeks of the year, I think this Week 10 bye comes at a really good time for Philadelphia to recalibrate. They've had so much success at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers over time, and that's been a historically dominated rivalry game. The Battle of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia that has been one-sided on the side of the Eagles. They look to continue that dominance, not against the Mike Tomlin-led Pittsburgh Steelers, against the Mike McCarthy coached Pittsburgh Steelers. And we'll see if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback of Pittsburgh in Week 11. Week 12, Eagles hitting the road once again to play the Cowboys. This is a standalone game on Thanksgiving afternoon. The Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving. That's an annual tradition. And now the Eagles get to spoil their Thanksgiving meal. They have played the Cowboys twice in history on Thanksgiving, and they have won. The Eagles have those combined games by a combined score of 60-10. Philadelphia will have a 1 p.m. Eastern game at home against Shane Steichen and the Indianapolis Colts. At this time, I would imagine that Daniel Jones is back healthy, playing football, and the quarterback of Indy. They've got some good players there, but a winnable game for the Birds. The highlight game in that stretch of the 2026 schedule, in my opinion, going on the road, playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. There's just a different, unique feel to that type of game. And it's of a huge magnitude, right? Where the whole world will be watching. And I'll tell you this, if the Eagles and Cowboys are both really good and they're above 500, they're battling for the NFC East crown, this could go down, early prediction, as the most watched game on Thanksgiving in the history of the National Football League. Now, Philadelphia Eagles now is also presented by our friends at PrizePicks. As I mentioned off the top, when you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly on lineups. And we're looking ahead to the Eagles 2026 schedule, right? So let's look ahead and make some future NFL selections here. I put together a lineup. Jalen Hurts, more than 21.5 passing touchdowns. I think easily he can surpass that number even without A.J. Brown. Him and Sean Mannion are hitting it off. He's a big fan of this new offensive scheme, and he likes Mannion himself. He did not like Kevin Patullo, and we could see why. Patullo didn't do him any favors. I think Hurts has a bounce-back year and more than 21.5 passing touchdowns. If he can stay healthy, I think he surpasses that number. So I like the more there. Ashton Genty with the Las Vegas Raiders. That team is much improved. Let's rock with more than 950.5 rushing yards. Joe Burrow, if he stays healthy, I think the Bengals could make it to the Super Bowl this year, and I think that he can throw for 4,000 yards. The more or less number is 3,874.5. I'm going with the more there. And then Bijan Robinson, what a year he had last year. Can he rush for more than 1,200 yards this season? I think so. It's at 1,124.5. Moore's Club there as well. So get $50 when you play $5. Pick more, pick less. Pick PrizePicks. PrizePicks, it's always good to be right. All right, week 14. The Eagles will go to the desert and play the Arizona Cardinals. This is another opportunity for Eagles fans to take over an opposing stadium. And in my travels to Arizona, when the Eagles have played the Cardinals back in Super Bowl 57, there are so many Eagles fans who live in the Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale area. This is a great opportunity for them at their homes to see the Eagles on the road. It's a bad Cardinals team too. So Eagles fans should be able to take over the joint. The Eagles will play and host the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks in Week 15. This game is on a Saturday. This is one of my worst fears because I'm in my buddy's wedding on Friday in Philadelphia. Might have to do a watch party from somewhere in Philadelphia. We'll plan ahead, but that will be a really good game between two teams that really since the turn of this century have been two of the more successful teams in the NFC. John Schneider, Howie Roseman, the only two GMs to win two different Super Bowls with two different head coaches and two different quarterbacks. Week 16, how many touchdowns are going to be scored in this game between the Eagles and the Texans? And the Eagles come off that Saturday game, and it's a shorter week, but they play on Saturday, so they get a little bit of a break here to play the Texans on Thursday Night Football. I think the Eagles will have a top 5 defense this year. I think the Texans have the best defense in the NFL this year. Plus, this game is on a short week in Philly when it could be cold. Take the under for this game, and I'm curious to see what the under is going to be. Week 17, the Eagles look to exact their revenge, and they look to flush what was an absolutely embarrassing loss to the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round last year at the Link. And you think about where this game is. Week 17, Sunday Night Football, between two teams who have projected win totals in the double digits. This could decide the Niners winning the NFC West, the Eagles winning the NFC East. This could determine playoff seeding as well. A lot is going to be on the line. Or could the Eagles be in street clothes? If they're in street clothes at this juncture of the year, that too would be monumental. Then the Eagles will round out the 2026 schedule by playing the New York Giants on the road at MetLife Stadium in Week 18. The highlight matchup of that stretch, I think it's the game against the Niners. There's bad blood between two of those teams and those fan bases, and the intensity is going to be ratcheted up because these two teams and fan bases do not like each other at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the full Philadelphia Eagles 2026 schedule. Predict how many games the Eagles win? Let me know down in the comment section, and tomorrow I'll give you my record prediction.